Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, specialists in home care and senior residences.
Matt Delvecchio here, specializing in home care and the senior living industry. Yeah, we could all use a little more money, but how to access it is part of the challenge. You know, we talk a lot about caregivers here on Life Unrehearsed. Almost 1 in 4 Canadians are, in fact, caregivers, and it could be for a spouse, a parent, or a child. And did you know that you may qualify for a federal or provincial tax credit? In fact, there are about 15 tax credits out there. It could be so confusing, though. You Google Canada tax credits, you give provincial caregiver tax credits, and it goes on and on. There's lots of information, but it can be confusing, and very often you may be leaving money on the table because you simply didn't know that you qualified. And many of these credits are retroactive to the day these health-related issues started. So how can we find out more? Well, we're going to bring in health-related tax specialist Alain Savoie. He is the co-owner of Alisa Refunds. Alain, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Hey, hi, Matt. Thank you so much for having me again on Life Unrehearsed.
Well, Alain, thank you. I can't tell you, there's not a week that goes by where a caregiver is not reaching us saying, Matt, what is out there for caregivers in terms of tax credits? So I know there was a lot of interest prior to the show on social media, so glad you took a little time here on a Sunday to inform and educate us. So what are some of the main reasons why people don't take advantage of these credits, Alain?
Well, unfortunately, like you said, there's a lot of possibilities, but they're not known, first of all. Very rarely do we hear the governments, would it be provincial or federal, through Revenu Québec or Revenu Canada, make publicity with regard to health-related tax credits. So those ones they go under the radar. They're not known. And the second reason is that, unfortunately, sometimes people have either an handicap or a chronic disease, or they have medical limitations, and somebody close to them tells them erroneously, it's not for you. So they don't really pursue the matter. And unfortunately, many people qualify. I have to tell you, 600,000 people in Canada every year could be entitled to health-related tax credit, but they don't claim it. And some of these people also think that going retroactively is a bit too complicated. And unfortunately, they don't know where to turn to get them.
You know, it's and this is where you come in. Your name came up a couple years ago, Alain. I had you on the show last year because we're not just talking caregiver for elderly, older adults. Of course, that's part of it, but there's a lot of caregivers for children, 18 and over, all types of caregivers right across the country. So this is where Alisa Refunds comes in. So can you explain to us, how does it work? How do you provide help to families?
Well, we provide help to families, and we've been doing so for 17 years now by doing a family fiscal analysis. Often tax credits, they can be shared within the people living under the same roof. And we do an analysis not only for one person, but we look at the family as a whole, and we try to maximize what the people have, what our clients have already requested. But very often we find a lot of possibilities of tax credits that have not been claimed, have never been claimed, or for some years have been claimed partially. So all of this requires, believe it or not, about 150 verification per person. So let's say a couple with an adult child that would be like in his 20s, that would be 450 verification that we do. And when we do that, we have a very good rate of success of 80% in finding for those family amounts that would be otherwise lost.
It's an amazing statistic there. And so I guess a lot of listeners, including myself, okay, is there a catch, Alain? What is the cost of services that you provide to find these tax credits?
Well, obviously our services aren't free, but our fees are contingent to our success. So that means in order to see an invoice from Alisa Refunds, you need to have received money from Revenu Canada or Revenu Québec prior to that. And our fees are 20% of what somebody receives. So if, unfortunately, we open a file and you don't get a refund, well, you don't have to pay anything. So it's totally risk-free for our clients. And actually, when we do accept to open a file because we have to qualify people from a fiscal point of view and from a medical point of view. And we do that over the phone in a 15 to 20-minute phone call. So when we do that and we offer to somebody to open a file with us, Matt, 19 people out of 20 open a file because it's no cost, not much to do, and totally risk-free because our fees are contingent to our success in getting money.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Del Vecchio here, and I'm talking with health-related tax specialist Alain Savoie, co-owner of Alisa Refunds. Well, Alain, we got to give the other half of Alisa. Who's the other co-owner?
The other co-owner is my wife, Lisa, hence the name, by the way. I am just the first letter A, and she's Lisa. So hence is Alisa Refunds. She's our president, and I'm the vice president of our firm. And we're very proud to be a small team of 12 persons, and we're dedicated only to that health-related tax credit, Matt.
I love it. Let's hear some real examples of some real refunds. Can you share a couple of them that you've had with clients?
Well, I have just example of funny things that happen in life since we started in that business. We get thank you notes very often, but once we got a picture of a man and his wife sitting on a couch with a dog on their lap, and they said with the $10,000 refund we got, we were able to buy this couch and this dog. So that was pretty good. And on a more serious note, sometimes I remember that a mother was thanking us profusely because she got money that was helping her son getting the therapy he had for a rare genetic disease. And we also have a lot of parents of autistic kids that are too busy trying to manage life with sometimes two kids that are autistic because there's a genetic component in that condition. So they sometimes don't have the time to take care of the fiscal aspects, and we got 20,000, 30,000 for those families sometimes.
Oh,
and there's also a situation where the person that is sick is not the person that gets the refunds. So I remember this father who had a chronic disease, and it's all the mom and the adult son that got the refunds. So sometimes we have to explain to our clients that the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your success ratio, about 80% there. Talking with Alain Savoie, co-owner of Alisa Refunds. A text came in. I'm going to put you on the spot here. You may or may not have the answer here, Alain, but does the caregiver have to live with the person at the same address? Are you aware of situations where you don't have to be living at the same address? I know it's a complicated answer, perhaps.
Yeah, no. But it is actually a very relevant question. I would say that in most situations, Matt, living under the same roof is a pre-requirement. It opens the door to many more tax credits, but there are two situations comes to my mind, and I don't want to get into the specifics right now, but sometimes if you help somebody and you don't share the same address, there are possibilities.
Okay, so there's hope, in other words. So don't automatically assume no. That's why they reach out to you. We're already out of time, Alain. You know what? How can our listeners get a hold of Alisa Refunds?
There's two main ways. There's going to be the phone numbers, toll-free and the normal one, and there's going to be the email address. I'm going to start with the email address to let your listeners to have the time to grab something to write the phone number. And the email address is info at alisarefunds.ca. I'm going to spell it. Alisa Refunds is ALISAREFUNDS.ca. And the phone number is 514-875-9082. And the toll-free number is 1-855-527-2683.
All right. Alain, thank you very much for sharing some good positive news, and know that there's hope and there may be some money on the table. So really encourage our listeners at nothing to lose, like Alain said. And I've worked with you, Alain, and I could vouch for you, and you're really doing a good thing for caregivers, and I appreciate what taking a little time to share what you do. So thank you, and we're going to have you back on. That's Alain Savoie, owner of Alisa Refunds, along with his wife, Lisa. That's Alisa Refunds. Thanks, Alain.
Hey, Matt, if I can take 10 seconds. Last year, we helped real people thanks to Life on Arrears. Last year, a lot of people called us, and most of them got refunds. So thank you also for what you're doing, Matt. So have a good Sunday.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Alain.